Alright, so we got the 1098 spoilers, and we are back in Dark Peace. We haven't been there in a while, at least from what I remember. But we are back because this chapter is really dark. Because we're getting like a crucial component of Bonnie, Ginny, and Kuma's backstory. It's not being wrapped up in this chapter. We still have like a few of them left in this flashback. However, this is the darkest it's been so far. Now let me also catch you quickly up to speed because we are coming off of a break. So in the previous chapter, we saw that Kuma and Ginny were able to like settle down in Sorbet Kingdom, but eventually Kuma found out that the king there, who's a piece of crap, was trying to use the prisoners as like slaves. So he's essentially being like a Temu version of the Celestial Dragon. So he gets thrown in prison, but then the Revolutionary Army shows back up because, you know, Ivankov knows of Kuma, break them out, and then Ginny and Kuma become a part of the Revolutionary Army. Actually, them joining it forms the Revolutionary Army. And as time passes, you know, they do all of the resistance stuff. And we come to 14 years ago from the present time in the story. And we see that Ginny, who is a Revolutionary Army captain of the Eastern Forces, is suddenly captured. We're finding this out from Dragon. And that was like the big cliffhanger. And we had tons of theories coming into this chapter, like what was going on with Ginny? What is Bonnie? Well, we're finding out. So Ginny was kidnapped and forced to become the wife of a celestial dragon. 2 years later, Ginny was freed from her slavery because she contracted a deadly disease. Ginny contacted Kuma one last time before dying, and during their conversation, Kuma managed to identify the location of where Ginny was and teleported there, but it was too late. Kuma arrives, but Ginny is dead. In her arms was baby Bonnie, who had the same illness as her. So there's also like a correction to this, I guess, because it says the information has been slightly revised after the bear arrived, Kuma. Ginny died after talking to him, and she did not directly see the body. So I guess when he teleports there quickly, they talk, then she dies. So let's break this down. So first of all, I don't know if this is like 100% debunking the Bonnie is a clone or Bonnie is memories, whatever theory. I actually made a video about this with Sai last week where we went over a bunch of those Bonnie Ginny theories. But right now, I'm thinking it's pretty much confirmed that Bonnie is 12 years old because, you know, it says 2 years later in this chapter, and at the end of the previous chapter is 14 years ago. So right now we're 12 years from the current time in the story, meaning that Bonnie has to be 12 years old. And apparently it is confirmed that Bonnie is about 12 years old, and that Oda actually showed us her real appearance already in Sabaody when she saved Zoro. So that's pretty fascinating. And Vegapunk calling her, you know, just a kid or whatever a couple chapters back also put it into our minds that she was probably young. So let's just break this down first before I go into the Kuma and Ginny stuff. So first of all, I'm sure you're going to be combing through the series and thinking about all of the sus moments that Bonnie has had with a character, or just sus moments in general, and you are justified. Yes, I'm aware of what Blackbeard did. He's my favorite character. I'm aware of almost everything that he's done. However, in the instance of him quote unquote hitting on Bonnie, he didn't know, guys. Okay? He didn't know. But you know who did know? Oda. So if you want to blame anybody for this stuff, you blame Oda. Also, that little panel in the beginning of Egghead, when she's drying off, I'm gonna have my editor, Mr. Him the Goat, blur this out because I can't show it on YouTube, but Oda can show it in his manga that, you know, he sells to a wide variety of demos and ages. I'm just kidding. Not about the blurring stuff. Definitely need to blur it. But we all know Oda at this point, and we all collectively choose to turn a blind eye to most of his proclivities. I think I might have inadvertently been saying like Ginny and Bonnie when I was referencing the other one by mistake, but yeah, Bonnie is 12, and it doesn't really matter to me because I don't really think it changes that much about who she is. It just makes her more interesting, if anything. So this means that Bonnie is half Celestial Dragon, right? Because Ginny was kidnapped and forced to become the wife of Celestial Dragon. Then she had a child. So yeah. And yeah, this is awful for Ginny, of course, that she was forced to live this fate. I mean, it's just typical for good guys in flashbacks in One Piece. If you see a good guy in a flashback in One Piece, there's like a 95% chance they're going to have the worst backstory or the worst fate that you've seen in shonen battle manga. And her contracting this disease or illness is very par the course with women in this series. But real quick, guys, Gamer Subs has a new flavor and it's straight up called lean. So now you can take your very own walk to Poland with Gamer Subs. And apparently it tastes like peach tea and lemonade, and it creates like a new flavor. Like, this is probably the best Gamer Subs flavor. And also it has a great little Joey B graphic on the front, guys. That's always fun. And since this is the walk, you can't just enjoy it with a single waifu cup. You gotta double stack them because, you know, that's the thing that you do with lean, right? So guys, if you're interested in getting literally the best Gamer Subs flavor, check the link in the description and make sure you use code BIGZ for 10% off. Keep walking out there, guys. It's not a coincidence that a lot of the mothers of significant characters have died. We've got Luffy's mom, who I think is the former Empress of Amazon Lily. It was said that she got the love sickness. The thing that we saw Gloriosa warning Hancock about, that she had, but then, I don't know, cleared it up. Ace's mom, Rouge, died. That was different, but still. I'm sure there's another example of a mom dying or something, giving birth to a significant character, but it makes you wonder, like, is Kuma a D? I mean, I know it hasn't been revealed, but you'd think that if there was anybody who was a D, it would be him. Especially since it's possible that he may or may not come from the same race as Joy Boy. Just taking a guess, not confirmed. But this also means that Kuma never got it in, guys. And I know this is going to upset a lot of you conservatives out there, because not only did Kuma not get it in, but he's raising a child that is not his. And hey, I've got nothing against that, especially if this has happened to anybody in real life. I 100% respect it. And it for sure makes you a better person. But, you know, a lot of people on the internet don't see it that way. However, who is Bonnie's, like, real father? So that's going to open up another can of a bunch of theories and everything. And considering that One Piece is on break next week, there's going to be plenty of time to get into some wild speculations. Now, right now, we know it is a celestial dragon. And I think the popular candidate, or at least the one that comes to our minds, or at least came to my mind immediately, was like Garling. You know, Shanks's implied father. Not confirmed, just taking a guess. That would be pretty wild if Garling was like her dad and then Bonnie's like Shanks's half sister or something. But I don't think it's that simple. So it's possible that we've already seen him, because you know how Oda does things. If you go back to chapter 908, when Bonnie infiltrates the Reverie and she like disguises herself as Connie of Sorbet Kingdom, she comes across Kuma, who is being ridden by Saint Roswald. And Roswald is the father of Charlos. And I'm thinking that, considering that we're seeing this in this instance, you know, Roswald riding Kuma and Bonnie acknowledging that Kuma is her father in this panel, although at this time we don't know that. And at that time, I thought it was Roswald who was her father, but you guys know that I'm an idiot. But anyway, what if Roswald is actually her biological father? Meaning that Charlos is like her half-brother, because also she did have an interaction with Charlos before, right? At Sabaody, she saved Zoro from getting killed because of killing him. I put that out there because these are the celestial dragons that have a recurring thing with Bonnie. At least two different instances we see Bonnie with Charlos, and then the other instance we see with Roswald. Although Roswald was at Sabaody too, right? I mean, yeah, it's not like the most significant of characters to be her father, but it just still shows what awful pieces of crap the celestial dragons are. I mean, we already knew this. And I'm sure we're going to get way more of their war crimes revealed to us as time goes on. But anyway, let's go further. So Kuma took care of Bonnie since then, and we see how Bonnie grows up with them. At the end of the chapter, we see how King Bakuri of the Kingdom of Sorbet returns there to cause problems. So yeah, King Bakuri was the guy who I was talking about being the Temu version of a celestial dragon. He comes back because, you know, he got usurped by the Revolutionary Army. And it's possible that this is where Kuma gets the title of Tyrant. or the Mad Tire or whatever. You know, they put this big smear campaign on Kuma to make him seem like he was evil or something. Now, I'm not saying he goes on a rampage here and straight up kills people, because I just don't think there's any way that Oda is going to have a character as ultra babyface as Kuma in this flashback kill somebody. Although I would respect it for sure if he does. But I'm sure he's going to do some kind of Ursus shock or something. And then, I don't know, maybe the Celestial Dragons or the Admirals come or something and then subdue him and then just put a smear campaign on him. Because, you know, he's a Buccaneer and they hate him. Because the Buccaneers did something bad back in the day. I don't know, probably Joy Boy's race maybe. If not, Joy Boy is straight up giant. But anyway, I guess he also meets up with Vegapunk at some point after this too. And maybe Vegapunk heals Bonnie some way. I mean, I know he's not like a doctor the way that Chopper is, but I'm sure he knows how to heal some stuff, or knows how diseases and stuff works. It seems like he just knows everything, right? Everything except wanting to talk to the audience about substantial stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video today, guys. I'm gonna, of course, review the full summary when we get it, so subscribe for that if you haven't already. And if you liked it, please like it. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.